It was supposed to be the highlight of their final school year, a weekend trip. One last memory before life scattered them in different directions. But by Monday morning, 4 students were gone. No note, no goodbye, no trace. It began with laughter. Rows of teenagers piling into a rusted, humming charter bus, chattering over snacks and playlists, their backpacks crammed with clothes and inside jokes. The trip was planned to the smallest detail. Mr. Collins had triple-checked every form, every permission slip, every head count. 32 students, 3 chaperones. A quiet nature retreat just outside the sleepy town of Meriton. No cell service, no distractions, just trees, stars, and each other. It was meant to be simple, but simple never lasts. Anna Jensen was the first to notice something was wrong. She always sat near the back of the bus, head against the window, earbuds in, journal on her lap. That first night, she couldn't sleep. Not from fear, from a feeling, a pressure, like a whisper against her skin. She got up quietly, stepping outside the creaking cabin and into the thick forest air. That's when she heard it, branches cracking, footsteps, but not human. Too light, too many. She froze. And then silence, only her breath fast, sharp, clouding the night. She told herself it was an animal, a deer, a raccoon. She went back to bed, but she didn't sleep. In the morning, Paige was gone. They found her. Bunk untouched, her sleeping bag folded neatly. No note, no signs of struggle, just absence. Mr. Collins kept calm, told the rest it was probably a miscommunication. Maybe Paige had gone for a walk, maybe she'd left early, but Anna knew. Better. Paige was her best friend. They'd planned to hike the East Trail together. She wouldn't just leave. 2 more were missing by that night, Tyler, Liam. Both boys had shared Cabin B, right across from Anna's. Their beds were empty, their belongings untouched. No footprints, no forced doors, nothing. Panic settled like fog. Mr. Collins called the local ranger station, but it was nearly midnight. No one picked up. The town was 40 minutes away by bus. He didn't want to leave the rest of the group alone. So they waited, but waiting made it worse. The next day, a search began. They spread out, students, teachers, even the cook from the lodge. The forest was thick, quiet, too quiet. Then they found something. Anna was the one who spotted it, a charm bracelet. Paige's. It was caught on a low-hanging branch, deep off-trail. Nearby, footprints, but only one set, as if she'd walked alone. Willingly, or under orders. That night, Anna didn't sleep again. Instead, she wrote. She filled 10 pages with everything she could remember, every sound, every detail. Something didn't add up. She remembered Tyler complaining about headaches. Liam had nosebleeds. Paige had joked about dreams that feel like movies. It felt random then. Now it didn't. That same night, Anna heard it again. Movement. Voices, not from the cabins. From beyond the trees, she stepped outside. This time, she followed. The moon was high, the trees silver. She walked for what felt like hours, barefoot in the cold dirt, drawn by a sound, a rhythm, soft, like chanting. She reached a clearing and stopped breathing. They were there. Paige, Tyler, Liam, standing in a circle, eyes closed, hands limp. Their faces were wrong, expressionless, pale. A 4th figure stepped forward. Not a student, not anyone she recognized. Tall, wearing a hood, its face hidden. It turned toward Anna, and she ran. She didn't stop until the cabins reappeared through the trees, her legs shaking, her throat raw. She didn't speak, not to anyone. She didn't think they'd believe her, but she wrote it down, every word, every face, every terrifying detail. In the morning, the story broke. The ranger finally arrived. He called the local police. The entire camp was searched. The clearing? Gone. The bracelet? Vanished. No footprints, no trace of the missing, only Anna's notebook. They read it. Every page. They questioned her. Her classmates whispered, was it trauma? Was she imagining it? Then came the final day. The bus ride back was silent. Everyone tense, everyone afraid. Anna sat by the window again, watching the trees shrink. Away, she didn't speak. 2 hours from home, Mr. Collins stopped the bus. He was sweating, pale, eyes unfocused. He turned slowly in his seat and said one word, "Run!" Then he collapsed. Chaos erupted. Students screamed. Some jumped from the bus. Anna didn't move. She looked at his arm. A symbol was carved into his skin. The same one she'd seen in the clearing, a circle, 3 lines, and a single eye. That night, news broke. Mr. Collins had vanished from the hospital. The bus was impounded. The students were questioned. Nobody knew what to say. Anna returned home. Her parents tried to comfort her, but she didn't feel safe. She stayed awake every night, staring out her window, waiting for Paige, for Tyler, for the hooded figure. Then, 3 weeks later, a letter arrived. No return address, no handwriting. Just a single photo. The students, all of them smiling, standing in the same clearing, with the hooded figure at the center. Anna dropped the photo, turned it over. 4 words were written in red. You weren't supposed to see. She burned the photo and the notebook, but it didn't matter, because the dreams came next. And in every one, she was standing in that circle, holding hands, eyes closed, and someone was whispering her name, not loud, not angry, soft, welcoming, and then always a voice in her ear. One more. It started again the night after she burned the photo. Anna dreamed of Paige standing at the edge of her bed, barefoot, soaked to the knees, her hair clinging to her face like wet leaves. She didn't speak, just stared, eyes wide, vacant, like she didn't know where she was or what she'd become. Then, in a voice not her own, she whispered, "You're next." Anna woke up screaming. Her parents rushed in, but she couldn't speak. Her throat was tight, like fingers had gripped it in her sleep. There were scratches on her neck, too thin for hands, too deep for dreams. The next morning, she found something under her bed, a pine needle, still damp, still smelling like the forest. She hadn't seen a pine tree in days, not since the trip. She tried to convince herself it meant nothing, that it was from her boots, from her bag, that it wasn't a sign, but then the birds stopped coming to her window. Then the light started flickering at night. Then the radio, which had been broken since 5th grade, turned on by itself, playing static and voices. So she stopped sleeping. She stopped talking. She stopped writing. But she kept watching. At school, everyone pretended it was over. The police had labeled the disappearances unexplained but likely voluntary. No evidence of foul play. No evidence of anything at all. But Anna noticed things. No one mentioned Paige anymore. No one talked about Tyler or Liam, not even their friends, like they were scared or like they were told not to. Then came the substitute, Ms. Ayla Tall, pale. Hair too dark to be natural, eyes too calm to be human. She said she was filling in for Mr. Collins, who was on extended leave, but Anna didn't believe her. The first time she saw Ms. Ayla, her skin went cold. She remembered the clearing, the hooded figure, the same presence, different face. Ms. Ayla smiled too often, watched too closely. She asked questions no substitute would ask. "Have you had any dreams lately, Anna? Do you still think about the woods? Would you like to draw what you remember?" Anna lied. She said she didn't remember anything, that the dreams had stopped, that she felt safe. Ms. Ayla smiled wider, but Anna had started recording. Every night she set her phone on the windowsill, voice memo running, and every morning she listened. Most nights there was nothing. Silence, the creaking of old pipes, her own breathing, until Wednesday. The file was 3 hours long. But at 3:12 a.m. something changed. Footsteps, slow, bare, across hardwood floor. Then a voice, faint, distant, but clear. "Join us." She replayed it 10 times. The voice wasn't hers, and it wasn't alone. There were others. Whispers overlapping, a rhythm, a chant. Like before, that day at school, Ms. Ayla handed her a slip of paper, no context, no words, just a hand-drawn symbol, a circle, 3 lines, 1 eye. Anna didn't react. She folded it in half, stuffed it in her pocket. But inside, she was trembling. She knew the others had seen the symbol too, because in the hallways, no one looked her in the eye anymore, and because someone had carved it into her locker door. She tried to tell a counselor, she tried to show the recording, but the file was gone, corrupted, empty. She checked the cloud, gone. Then her phone died, wouldn't turn back on. Anna started to feel like she was being erased, bit by bit. At lunch, she sat alone. At home, she kept every light on. She even started locking her bedroom door, but it didn't help. That Friday, she got a package. No name, no postage, just a box. Inside, her journal, the one she burned. The pages smelled like smoke. But they weren't ash, and they'd changed. Her handwriting was there, but filled with words she never wrote, descriptions of places she'd never seen, symbols she couldn't translate. At the very end, a new entry. You wrote the invitation. You lit the way. They followed because of you. She dropped it, her hands trembling. She didn't remember writing that. But the ink was fresh. That night, she dreamed again. This time, she wasn't in her bed. She was in the clearing, naked feet on frozen dirt, a circle of flames around her. The students were there, Paige, Tyler, Liam, standing like statues, and across from her, Ms. Ayla. Only now she wasn't hiding. She wore the hood, the one from the forest. She raised a hand and the flames turned blue. Anna tried to run, but her legs wouldn't move. The earth pulled her down. The trees whispered her name, and the sky. It cracked open like glass, revealing nothing but black. When she woke up, her feet were dirty, her pajama pants soaked with mud. And there was a line of ash circling her bed. She wasn't dreaming. She was sleepwalking. Or worse, someone was walking her. The next morning her parents were gone. Not missing, just gone. No trace of leaving, no explanation. Their phones disconnected, their clothes still in the closet. Breakfast, half eaten, on the table. Anna stood in the silent kitchen, staring at the front door, which was wide open, and just outside, on the porch step, was a drawing. It was hers. Crayons, scribbled. A girl in the woods, surrounded by eyes. And in the corner, the symbol. But now, it was bleeding. Crimson ink, fresh, dripping. She closed the door, locked it, bolted every window, but deep down she knew it wouldn't matter. They weren't trying to break in. They were trying to bring her back to where it started, to the circle. And she knew she had one more night before the dreams turned real. Anna didn't sleep. She sat on her bedroom floor all night, back against the wall, flashlight clutched in one hand, her dad's old baseball bat in the other. The lights flickered twice around 3 a.m. But nothing came. No footsteps, no whispers, no dreams. Just silence. The kind that doesn't feel empty. The kind that feels like something is holding its breath with you. When morning came, Anna looked like a ghost, pale, hollow-eyed, her hands trembling from a fear she couldn't name out loud. She knew she couldn't stay home. The house wasn't safe anymore. But neither was school. Still, she went, because if there were answers, any at all, they were hiding in plain sight. In the smiles that didn't reach the eyes, in the laughter that died too quickly, in the things no one dared to say. The halls buzzed with that same eerie normalcy. Like everyone was pretending not to remember. But someone remembered. At her locker, Anna found a note, no name, just 4 words. I saw them too, folded inside. A photograph, grainy, faint. A snapshot of the woods, the clearing. But in the Rudoy background, half hidden behind a tree, a figure, long black coat, no face, just the outline. Anna's breath caught. She turned around fast. But the hallway was empty. She skipped class, found an empty stairwell, sat down and stared at this photo until the bell rang. Something was wrong with the edges. They weren't torn. They were burned, but there was no scorch mark on her fingers. At lunch, Ms. Ayla was waiting at her table. She sat across without asking. No tray, no bag. Just a book in her hands, old, leather-bound. The symbol pressed into the cover. Anna froze. Curiosity, Ms. Ayla said softly, is the door. Anna didn't answer. Ms. Ayla slid the book across the table. You're ready now. Anna looked around. Everyone else was eating, laughing, talking, like they couldn't see the book. Couldn't see her. She opened the cover. Inside, a single page. Blank, then words began to appear. Not ink, shadow, stretching across the paper like veins. To find them, return. Ms. Ayla stood and left without another word. Anna didn't. Eat. She didn't go to last period. Instead, she ran to the school library, to the archives, to the only place no one went anymore. There, she found the trip roster. 3 names had been removed, black ink slashed across them. Paige, Tyler, Liam. But there was a 4th, one she didn't remember. Caleb Rourke. She didn't know that name. Didn't remember a face. But his signature was on the permission slip. She searched the yearbooks. Nothing. No photos. No club lists. No mention at all. It was like he'd been erased, or like he never existed. Except her journal. The burned one, there was a new entry, one she hadn't seen before. Caleb opened the path. Caleb never came back. She dropped the book. Her hands cold. She had to find the trail again, back to where it started, back to the woods. That night, she packed a flashlight, her phone, the photo, and the symbol. She left a note in case she didn't return. If I disappear, look in the eye. Clearing. She slipped out after midnight. The woods weren't far. Just beyond the abandoned rail yard, a place no one went anymore. The trees were different now, twisted, too tall, too still. She followed the same path from the trip, but it was darker now. Wrong. There were no stars, no wind, only her footsteps. And then the clearing, just as she remembered it. And not at all. The stones were still in a circle, but now they pulsed with a faint red glow, like veins beneath skin. She stepped inside. Her flashlight flickered, then died. She wasn't alone. Figures emerged from the shadows. Faces she knew, Paige, Tyler, Liam, alive, but not alive. Their skin was too pale, their eyes too dark. They moved like puppets, and in the center, a new figure, taller, wrapped in black, the same as the one in the photo. It raised its hand and spoke in a voice that filled her bones. You brought the key. Anna backed away. This isn't real, but it was. She felt the cold, heard the whispering trees, smelled the burning leaves. The ground beneath her cracked open, a fissure of black smoke and ash. Hands reached up, thin, wet. Familiar. One. Of them was Caleb. She saw his face, eyes wide with fear, mouth sewn shut. She screamed. The symbol in her pocket burned hot. She threw it into the circle. The glow vanished. The figures froze, and the voice said, "Another time then." The clearing exploded with light. Anna woke up on her bedroom floor, soaked, shivering. The clock read 7:00 a.m. It was Saturday. Her phone was beside her, dead, but her boots were muddy, and in her hand, the photograph. But now, the figure in the background was gone, and in his place, Anna, standing between the trees, eyes wide, looking directly at the camera. Anna didn't tell anyone, not about the woods, not about the clearing, not about the photo that now showed her staring back at herself. She didn't have to. Someone already knew. Sunday morning, her bedroom window was open. She hadn't opened it. And on the floor, perfectly centered beneath the windowsill, a pine cone, dry, split open. It reeked of smoke. Anna didn't touch it, just stared, waiting for it to blink or speak or burn. It didn't, but under it, another note, 4 words again. You've been marked now. She didn't go back to sleep, didn't eat breakfast, didn't respond when her mom asked if she was okay, because how do you say, I might not be alone in my body anymore, and still get sent to school? She stayed in her room all day, watched the shadows crawl across the walls, watched the pine cone. It never moved. But she swore the smell grew. Stronger. By evening something shifted. Like a film had been lifted from her eyes, the books on her shelves looked different. Like they'd aged overnight. The mirror didn't reflect the right colors, and when she passed her closet she felt heat, like something inside had just exhaled. That night she had a dream. But it wasn't a dream. It was a memory. Someone else's. She was standing in the clearing again, but it wasn't empty. It was filled with people, all wearing robes, all silent, a fire in the center. Flames tall, blue. A boy stood before it. Caleb, younger. Shaking, eyes locked on the symbol carved into the earth. Voices chanted, low, unfamiliar words. And behind Caleb, the figure. No face, just blackness, and something deeper. A cold so ancient. It cracked the air. Caleb turned, looked right at her. His lips moved, but no sound came. Then everything burned white. Anna shot up in bed, soaked in sweat. The room was dark. The pine cone was gone, but in its place, ash. Forming the shape of a spiral, she backed away slowly, didn't breathe until she was downstairs. Mom was asleep on the couch, TV humming static. Anna crept out the front door. She had to know more, had to find out what really happened to Caleb. There was one person left to ask, Ms. Ayla. She biked to her teacher's house. A 30-minute ride in the dark. She didn't care. When she got there, all the lights were off. But the door was unlocked. She stepped inside. The house smelled like lavender and dust. Books covered every surface. Papers stacked on the stairs. Wind. Chimes inside the hallway, silent. She found Ms. Ayla in the study, sitting in a chair, staring at the fire, like she'd been waiting. I was wondering when you'd come, she said without turning around. Anna stepped closer. You knew about Caleb? Yes? Why didn't you tell anyone? Ms. Ayla's voice was calm, too calm. Because they wouldn't understand, because you had to see it for yourself. Anna felt her hands curl into fists. He's trapped. I saw him. He's still out there. Ms. Ayla nodded slowly. They all are. Then help me. Tell me how to get him back. Silence. Then, have you heard the name Velcroft? Anna shook her head. It's the name of the forest before the town was built, before anything stood here. Anna waited. Velcroft wasn't a place. It was a threshold, a veil. A veil to what? Ms. Ayla turned finally. Her eyes were darker than Anna remembered. To them, she reached beside the chair, pulled out another book, this one older, bound in bark. Inside, symbols, names, coordinates. They come through when the veil thins, she said. Always during the turning. What's the turning? The day everything loops. Anna didn't understand. But she knew it was important. What? Do they want? To be remembered. That night Ms. Ayla gave her instructions. A ritual, something to weaken the veil long enough to pull someone back. But there was a risk. If you open a door, something else might walk through. Anna didn't. Kare. She was going back. She left at dawn. To the woods. Again. This time she followed the spiral path carved into the earth. The trees moved aside, literally, branches curling, roots pulling back, as if the forest itself recognized her. The clearing was. Waiting. She stepped inside. This time she brought salt, chalk, a mirror. She followed Ms. Ayla's instructions exactly. The circle, the chant, the blood offering, just a prick on her finger. The air thickened, and then the mirror shook. Smoke filled it. Images flashed. Caleb. Trapped in a narrow hallway, banging on walls that weren't there. Anna screamed his name. He turned, saw her. Mouthed a word. Run! The mirror cracked. The ground trembled. Voices rose from the trees, chattering, clicking. Something was coming. Anna grabbed the mirror, ran. The forest fought back. Branches snapped at her. Roots grabbed her ankles. She tore through them. Didn't stop until she was. In the field behind her neighborhood, when she looked back, the woods were gone, just gone, where trees had stood. Now only empty sky. She staggered home, collapsed into bed. The mirror was still in her hands, its surface now smooth, no crack. No smoke, just a reflection. But when she looked into it, it wasn't her face staring back. Anna didn't speak for 2 days, not to her mother, not to Miss Isla, not to herself. She kept the mirror wrapped in a towel under her bed. It still showed her reflection, but only when the lights were off. In daylight, nothing, just a flat dark. Surface like glass that remembered shadows. She watched it sometimes, waiting for it to blink. It never did, but every night since the ritual, she heard the same whisper before falling asleep. One must stay. The words crawled down the back of her neck, cold and wet, like the breath of something watching through. A keyhole. She wanted to forget it all. Burn the mirror, bury the memory, be normal again. But then, on the third morning, a knock at the door, not the front one. Her window. She turned slowly. A boy stood outside, hair damp, eyes wild. Caleb, alive, or something that looked like him. She ran to the window, fumbled it open. Caleb? He didn't answer at first, just stared at her like he couldn't believe she was real. Then, you pulled me out. Tears welled in her eyes. She wanted to hug him, but something held her back. His pupils were too wide, his smile too sharp. He stepped inside. Anna backed away. What did you see? She whispered. Caleb's face twitched, like he was trying to remember how it worked. They feed on forgetting, he said, on being erased. But you remembered. That broke them. She didn't understand, didn't care. You're safe. Now, you're here. He looked around her room, touched her desk, breathed in the air. No, he said softly. I'm not here. Anna froze. What do you mean? He turned to her. Something in his eyes shifted. They let me go. Because you stayed. Her heart stopped. No. I ran. I escaped. You think you did, he said, but your body made it out, not you. The room went silent. Time twisted. Reality curled at the edges. Anna ran to the mirror, unwrapped it, held it up, and screamed. The girl inside wasn't moving, wasn't blinking. She was just watching, her face, identical but older, cracked at the edges and behind her. The clearing, still glowing, still waiting. Anna dropped the mirror. It shattered, and the whisper returned, one must stay. Caleb backed away, his form flickering, stuttering. I'm sorry, he said. They chose. Anna fell to her knees, felt the carpet dissolve into dirt, the walls melt into trees. She was back in the clearing, alone. No circle, no fire, just silence. She stood. The sky was red now, the trees too tall, the moon too close. Something moved in the distance, a shape with no outline, no face. She turned and saw a door, wooden, small, standing on its own. She walked to it, no handle. Just a symbol carved deep into the center. The spiral. She touched it and felt warmth. A voice echoed behind her. Choose. She turned. 3 figures stood there. Familiar, wrong. Paige, Tyler, Liam, smiling, but not at her. Behind them, Caleb still flickering, still fading. He nodded once. Anna took a breath, stepped through the door, and vanished. The next morning, her mom woke up to find her bed empty, room cold, window wide open, but no sign of struggle, no footprints, no blood, just a note on the pillow. She saved us. No one ever found her. The school moved on. The teachers pretended nothing happened. The woods were bulldozed a year later in its place. A new park with walking trails, benches, a playground, and at the center, a sculpture, an abstract spiral, twisting toward the sky. Most people pass by without noticing it, but some, the ones who remember, feel something pull, a flicker in the corner of the eye, a whisper without a mouth, and sometimes, if you walk alone through the park at dusk, you'll hear a voice, soft as leaves. One must stay.